guys, and welcome back to another video. So today's painting that I'm working on is actually intended to be a sticker. So if you'd like to see how I create my stickers from beginning to end, from the printing and the cutting and everything, stay tuned till the end of the video because I'm going to show clips of that. But I have been really in sticker fever land lately because I've been really loving creating these independent icons or these concepts where I don't have to worry about an illustration that's completed. I can worry about these concepts that I like, and I find that that really gets me in the right creative mood when I'm really feeling bogged down with things. So this is exactly what I've been wanting to do for a little while now, but I wanted to do a sticker design that was based on a traditional painting, and I also wanted to do a full character design, full figure sticker. So that was two check boxes that I can mark off because of this one. But I do have some really exciting news. I am officially on Patreon. I've been planning this for a while now, and I have several different reward tiers. So if you'd like to have exclusive special art goodies that are mailed directly to you, there's a tier for that. I also have tiers where you can just get some checkups on how I'm doing and some extra behind the scenes sketches. I also have some big projects that I'm planning and working on, and Patreon will see a bulk of the behind the scenes stuff that won't be available anywhere else. If you'd like to help support me and this channel and everything that I'm trying to get out for you guys, that is a great way to do it. There is a link down in the description. And if you don't know what Patreon is at all, I will be talking a little bit more about that later on in the video, but let's talk about this painting. So I love pirates. I used to be a lot more into it when I was younger, where I just loved the aesthetic and the look and the romanticism of it, even though that's not accurate at all to historical pirates, but I still always loved that. I loved the concept of it, and I used to draw them more, and I was inspired by them, and I thought that that would be a good focus for today's piece, because I do really want to get back in touch with the things that remind me how much I love art and how much I love what I do. And getting back to the things that historically has really given me a lot of joy is working, honestly. I've been paying attention to the things that I haven't really looked at in a while or addressed, and it's given me a lot of fuel for my inspiration and for my desires to create art. But another thing, this is a kind of a side note, but I've been listening to the music that I used to listen to in periods of my life during high school when I felt really, really creatively charged and I loved what I was drawing and I was just feeling all this positive creative energy. And it's surprising how much that's bringing back those memories. I think it's kind of like how they say when you're going to take a test, if you chew gum before it while you're studying and you chew that same gum while you're taking the test, it brings back these connections that your brain has made and it helps you remember those things better. It kind of feels like that. Like I have these connections to this music that I did listen to and these connections with this inspiration that I had. And as I'm listening to it now, it's just bringing it all back. And I don't know, I just think it's really interesting to analyze what things make me feel really connected with my pieces and what things make me really want to draw more and try to make sure that that's in my life more often. I think it's easy to forget about the things that really give us a lot of joy and inspiration, and those things get pushed aside. I know that that's what I do a lot. So I'm trying to be more aware and proactive about how I feel towards my art. But let's go ahead and talk about the actual execution of this painting. So I actually found that I really struggled with the painting of this painting for some reason. I enjoyed the process, so it wasn't that I was having a hard time with it necessarily, but I did feel like I was like not in quite the right brain space or something. I think it was just a little too much time between the last time that I had painted with watercolors. So I was kind of zoning out when I should have been really paying attention to certain things and the way that I was layering things. So I don't know. I think that with watercolors in particular, I have to really focus more than I was focusing when I was painting this. And because of that, it just ended up being a little bit more of a roundabout path to getting to the final result that I wanted, instead of it being a very clear-cut path straight to that final goal. But I did have to make a few revisions as I worked on things, and I had to clean stuff up, which if I had made better judgment calls at the beginning, I wouldn't have had to fix those. But that's okay. I have realized that one of the things that really disconnects me from really liking a piece while I'm working on it is when there are issues from the beginning that I know are there And the thing is that I have the resources to be able to fix them. So I'll give you this specific example. So her hair, when it came to inking it, there was a little bit of a mistranslation from the sketch. It just didn't have the flow that it had that I liked. And there was this bandana that's tied around her hair, and it didn't have the shape that I wanted, and didn't really go with the hair shape, and that was dragging me down. It was kind of putting me in a funk with this painting where I just felt like it was not where it needed to be, and anything that I did do wasn't going to quite bring it back. But I knew that that was something that I was going to be able to fix and refine with gouache, was my plan. And I found that in the past, oftentimes I'll leave those fixes till the very end, but it affects my mood of that painting the whole entire time. So I'm trying to be more aware of that and fix them immediately. So I try to make those fixes and those changes right from the beginning, even if it is a little bit out of order of how I normally work on a painting. Normally I work on the skin first, and then the hair and the details that are larger. And when it comes to watercolor, you really should be working light to dark anyways, but there's a certain hierarchy that I have. Anyways, I realized that I needed to just go ahead and take care of those things that were bugging me, and that way I could actually enjoy painting on this thing. And it did actually help. I did end up, I think instead of using gouache, I just went in with dark watercolor, and I filled in the back of her hair so that it was all part of her bandana, and I changed the way that the line work was a little bit, and I added a pattern on top of it eventually with gouache. So overall, it brought it together into the look that I wanted, and it fixed some of these issues, and that really helped me. I also, at the beginning, you might have noticed she had 2 arms and a hint of a third, because I had changed my mind while I was inking where I wanted that arm to be, and I just had to fix that up. Once I cleaned up that errant arm that was hanging out there, it really did help. And I did actually end up using white gouache to cover that up a little bit, and it worked pretty well. It made it so that it wasn't nearly as apparent, and it is the gouache is opaque. That's what I'm trying to say. So it did cover that line work up, and it fixed those issues that I had, and it really does help. I was happy with that. And it was kind of interesting because I actually really liked the layering on this painting, but it came about because I felt like I was struggling with each individual painting layer, the glazing process. I felt like I wasn't quite getting as smooth of washes, and I was just kind of struggling with the execution of each painting layer, and because of that I added more than I normally would, and I really like that look. So it has this more luminous quality to the colors. There's more of this prismatic effect to it, and you can see through watercolor. That's what makes it really gorgeous and beautiful, and watercolor is so unique, is that you can see from one layer to the layer below it to the layer below that. So if I were to mix that exact color and put it down in one wash, it would not have the same quality as it would if I was doing several different layers. That's the key component of glazing. But I accidentally pushed it farther than I normally do, and I really like that look. So it might be something that I will try to be more controlled about and planned out, but I'd like to maybe get some of those qualities in the future in a more controlled way, in a more thoughtful way. And then I went in with some gouache and added some defining features and little details. I went in with this periwinkle color on top of the feathers that were in her hat, and I actually really love that look. It's almost the same value as the feathers that were already there, but I think that the contrasting opacity that was happening there makes it stand out in a really interesting way. So at first glance it blends in because it's similar value, but the original feathers are transparent, so you can see these layers below it, and then those top feathers are opaque, so the light immediately reflects off of it. I just think it's a really interesting looking texture to it, which it's hard to get that to come through on any sort of prints, but in actual reality it looks really cool, and I really like that. I also added some little patterns to her bandana and to her tights that have a very similar quality to that. And if you don't know exactly what Patreon, like I mentioned I was going to talk about, is it's basically a subscription service where you can help support all your favorite artists there, and you get charged. For me, it will be the first of the month after the month that you pledge, and during each of those months you'll be able to get lots of exclusive content, and we'll be able to connect more one-on-one on a personal level, which is one of the things that I'm most excited about Patreon, is that it'll give me an opportunity to be able to be really present and to talk to you guys a little bit more. So if you'd like a chance to help support me, again, there is a link down in the description. There's also a link to the store where you can get this original painting as well as the stickers that I am working on right now, but that's all down there in the list. And I also do have all of the tools that I use listed down in the description as well. So if you're curious on what I used to create this painting, it's all right down there. And that is it for today. If you'd like to see more stuff from me during the week, I do post on Instagram and now Patreon, so you can follow me at those two places down in the description. There are links over there. And I have finally fixed that accidentally incorrect PO box that I have listed, so I have a correct PO box down in the description. So if you did want to send me anything, which I always absolutely love, I do have that down below. So yeah, that is it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.